Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about selling your house in the city and trying to downsize or cash out and go to a more rural area. We have all kinds of clients that have done this recently, where they're selling their home for a far greater number here in the GTA and then taking that money and be able to go out to the country and buy something much nicer. So anyways, before we start that, just a little housekeeping. If you have not subscribed, if you'd like to stay on top of all our new videos, things that go on in the Mississauga real estate market, updates of the areas, please feel free to subscribe. You'd appreciate that. And as well, if you could share the video with a couple of people, that would be great as well. I'd do it for you. So if you could share it with a couple of people, we'll get that out there around and hopefully we can get a few more people following on the station. And remember, I'm talking to people like you every day. So whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 9 years, I'd love the opportunity to connect and be there to help you with your real estate needs whenever they do arise. So in the description below, you can book a call through Calendly and hopefully we can connect and I can help you out with your real estate needs. Okay? So I'm going to do this video a little different today. It's sort of from a personal standpoint. My dad and his wife used to live in Milton, and they sold their house in Milton and were able to cash out. They got a great price. I sold it for them, so they got a great price. And they moved out a couple hours away into the country, and they built just a gorgeous bungalow. Now, look, the reality is, with the money that they got to build out there, they couldn't have built that house in the city, right? So that house was only going to happen for them in a little more rural area. So they've got a beautiful bungalow, great finishes, gorgeous appliances, open concept living. So everything they dreamt about, they were able to get by moving away from the GTA. Right now, the other reason that they wanted to leave was the city had become too busy for them. So, in fairness, the city of Milton had, I think, quintupled or 5-6 times growth from the time my dad moved there until the time he left. So the roads must have felt extremely busy and crazy congested for him, right? So he felt that moving out to a place in the country, there's less traffic, things are slower, better for him again, right? So those were their two big reasons for wanting to move. And then, obviously, even though he built that gorgeous new home, there was still money left over, so that helped them with their retirement. And then, the other thing is, the cost of living out there is less too. So going to a restaurant where they are is a lot less than going to a restaurant in the GTA. His golf course, the golf club membership there is a third of what he would pay in the GTA. So a lot of the things that they love to do, they were able to do for a much lower price moving out there to the GTA, or out where they are, and leaving Toronto behind. And those were a lot of pluses, right? And that's a lot of reasons that we see our clients thinking of selling and moving on as well. So some of the minuses that'll happen when you move from the city out to the country is obviously, if your family's still back in the city, there's going to be a little bit more isolation for you. So, I used to see my dad once a week. He's 2 hours away now, so once a week doesn't happen. His family is closer to the GTA. Her family is close to the GTA. So that connection with family has definitely gotten a little weaker just because, it's hard for everybody to travel that distance to see one another. Maybe that's why he left, so he didn't have to see me as much. But, and then the other issue that you have is, you're going to have a hard time with healthcare. Let's be honest that when you're in a big city, there's more doctors, there's bigger hospitals. In our situation, my father had, by the time they got him from where he lives to a major hospital, it had done some damage. They told him if he'd been living in the city, the damage would have been 1/4 of what it was. Now, thankfully, he's recovered and all is good, but definitely if he was living in the GTA, that damage done to his heart would have been far less, right? Then you also have the issue of trying to organize all of the people who took care of you before. So, like my dad and his wife, they haven't been able to find a GP out their way. So they still travel back to Burlington to see their GP, and they'll probably do that for as long as they can. Their hairdresser, they still come back to see their hairdresser. So there's little things that they're afraid to let go of, that they have to make a 2-hour drive back to come and see these people, right? One of the other issues that you have when you're in these rural towns is, right now, again, my father and his wife, they're not so old that they can't drive. That day's coming. And if you're in the GTA, if you're in a bigger city, you have all of that public transportation available to you. So the day is going to come when my father and his wife aren't able to drive, and quite honestly, they're not going to be able to get around, regardless of how nice that town is. They're going to have a hard time getting around to do things there, right? Have far less amenities where they are. So I know that my dad and his wife have to travel 45 minutes to get to Costco. They have to travel 45 minutes to get to the grocery store they like. So all the convenience of having the big box stores right near you and able to pick things up easily, that goes away as well, right? So just another minus to consider before heading out to the country. And then the final one, and this is the one that they're actually wrestling with right now, is, okay, so you want to come back closer to your family, you want to make sure that you have access to public transportation, you want to make sure you have good health care because now you've gotten a little bit older, so I'm going to move back to the GTA. Well, the problem is the GTA market has gone up in price at a faster rate than it has out where you are. So you built this beautiful house and it's gone up a little bit, but what you can afford back in the GTA now is far less. So if you sell that beautiful house and come back to the GTA, what you're going to be buying is going to be disappointing a little bit compared to what you have. So there definitely is upsides and downsides to making that move. And we just wanted to point out, definitely we have all kinds of people that are, in that age group and they're thinking of selling off what they have and moving out of town. And you just want to make sure that you think it all through before you make that move. And one of the options might be purchasing something smaller here in the city. So, okay, I'm going to sell my house here, and maybe I don't need a 2-story home, or I don't need the beautiful bungalow or whatever it was that he built, and you can go into a nice condominium or a nice townhouse here in town, and then all of those amenities and healthcare and everything are still close to you and still at your fingertips. All right, so if you have any questions about the video, please feel free to reach out. If you're thinking of downsizing yourself or moving out to the rural area and you have some thoughts on what's been said in the video, then please put them in there. And if you can, please like the video for me. So thanks again for your time, and we will talk to you later.